"Miss Amara, is something wrong?" one of the lawyers asked. Amara's pen touched the paper, but her hand froze. One signature. That was all it would take. She sat in the leather chair at the head of the long table in the Prestige Industries boardroom. The room was cold from the air conditioner. Outside the windows, Lagos traffic honked and crawled through Ikeja streets below. But up here, 15 floors high, everything was silent. Across from her sat 3 lawyers in dark suits. They smiled. They wanted her to sign. Behind them stood her own lawyer, Mr. Adebayo. He nodded once. Everything was ready. The contract was thick, 50 pages. But Amara only needed to sign the last page. Then Prestige Industries would be hers. The entire company, every employee, every office, every decision, including the Okafor family. Her chest tightened. She put the pen down. "Miss Amara, is something wrong?" one of the lawyers asked. "I need a moment," she said. The lawyers looked at each other. Mr. Adebayo stepped forward. "Should we leave the room?" "Yes." 5 minutes. They filed out. The door clicked shut. Amara was alone. She stood and walked to the window. Down below, she could see the small shops, the bus stops, the street vendors selling pure water and gala. This was the Lagos she knew, the Lagos where her mother had worked. Her mother. Amara closed her eyes. She could still see her mother's face. Tired eyes. Rough hands. The blue cleaning uniform she wore every single day. Mama had been a janitor at Prestige Industries for 20 years. She cleaned the toilets. She mopped the floors. She emptied the trash bins in the offices of people who never learned her name. People like the Okafors. Amara's hands curled into fists. Mrs. Okafor had been the worst. She was the HR director back then. A big woman with expensive wigs and gold jewelry. She used to walk past Mama without even looking at her, like Mama was invisible. But Mrs. Okafor had noticed Amara. Amara had been 13 years old when it started. She attended the same school as Mrs. Okafor's children, Grace Academy in Ikeja, a private school. It was expensive, but Mama had insisted. Education is the only way out, Mama used to say. So Mama paid every term, no matter how hard it was. But the Okafor children knew who Amara was. They knew her mother cleaned their parents' offices, and they never let her forget it. Amara turned away from the window. She sat back down at the table. The contract stared up at her. She remembered the day it got really bad. It was during lunch break. Amara was 15. She sat alone in the cafeteria, eating jollof rice from a small container. Mama had packed it that morning. Then Chidera Okafor walked over. Chidera was Mrs. Okafor's daughter, same age as Amara. Pretty girl, popular, always wearing expensive shoes and carrying designer bags. "Is that your lunch?" Chidera asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. Amara nodded. "It smells cheap," Chidera said. Her friends laughed. Amara kept eating. She didn't look up. "My mother says your mother cleans our toilets," Chidera continued. "Is that true?" The cafeteria got quiet. Everyone was listening now. "My mother is a janitor," Amara said. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook. "A toilet cleaner," Chidera corrected. She laughed. That's so disgusting. How do you even go to school here? Oh wait, I know. Your mother probably begs my mother for extra shifts. Amara stood up. Her chair scraped the floor. Don't talk about my mother, she said. Chidera stepped closer. Or what? Your mother will come mop up my mess? She grabbed Amara's food container and turned it upside down. The jollof rice spilled across the floor. Oh no. Better call your mother. There's a mess to clean. Everyone laughed. Amara didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of them. She waited until she got home. Then she cried in Mama's arms. Don't mind them, Mama said, stroking her hair. People who mock others are just afraid. They're afraid that one day you'll be bigger than them. And you will be, my daughter. You will be. That was 15 years ago. Now Amara was here, in this boardroom, about to own everything. She picked up the pen again. The door opened. Mr. Adebayo poked his head in. Not yet, she said. I need you to tell me something first. He came inside and closed the door. What is it? The Okafor family. They still work here, right? Mr. Adebayo checked his tablet. Yes, Mrs. Okafor is the senior HR director. Her husband, Mr. Okafor, is the chief financial officer. Their daughter Chidera works in marketing, and their son Emeka is in sales. The whole family, Amara said quietly. Yes, very influential here. They've been with the company for decades. Amara nodded slowly. And if I buy this company, I become their boss. Correct. You become everyone's boss. You can make any changes you want, fire anyone, promote anyone. It's yours. Amara looked at the contract again. This was it. This was the moment Mama had worked for. Mama had died 3 years ago. Heart attack. The doctors said it was from stress and exhaustion. Too much work, not enough rest. Amara had found her mother's journals after the funeral. Pages and pages of notes, budgets, calculations, lists of extra shifts. Mama had worked 3 jobs at the end. The janitor job at Prestige, night cleaning at a hospital, weekend shifts at a church, all to pay for Amara's education. Amara had graduated top of her class from Grace Academy. Then she got a scholarship to University of Lagos. Then another scholarship to study business in London. She came back to Nigeria 5 years ago and started her own consulting company. She was good at business, very good. Her company grew fast. She made money, real money. And now, she had enough money to buy Prestige Industries, the same company where Mama had cleaned toilets. The same company where the Okafors had worked while their children mocked her. Miss Amara, Mr. Adebayo said gently. The sellers are getting nervous. If you're having second thoughts, I'm not, Amara interrupted. I'm buying it. I just need to know one more thing. What? Can I fire people immediately after I sign? Or do I have to wait? Mr. Adebayo frowned. Legally, you can make staffing changes as soon as the sale is complete. But usually, new owners wait a few weeks. Get to know the company first. Make informed decisions. I know this company, Amara said. I know it very well. He shifted uncomfortably. Are you planning to fire someone specific? Amara didn't answer. She picked up the pen. This was the choice. She could sign this contract, become the boss, then walk into Mrs. Okafor's office tomorrow morning and fire her. Fire the whole family. Make them feel what it was like to be powerless, to be humiliated, to watch everything fall apart. They deserved it. They had been cruel. They had mocked Mama. They had made Amara's teenage years a nightmare. But there was a voice in her head, Mama's voice. Don't become like them, Amara. Don't let their ugliness make you ugly too. Amara took a deep breath. Bring them back in, she said. I'm ready to sign. The lawyers came back. They sat down. They watched as Amara put pen to paper. She signed her name, Amara Okonkwo. The lawyers clapped. They shook her hand. They said, "Congratulations." Mr. Adebayo smiled. "You're now the owner of Prestige Industries," he said. "How does it feel?" Amara looked at the contract. Her signature was still wet. "Ask me tomorrow," she said, because tomorrow morning she would walk into that building, not as the janitor's daughter, not as the girl who got mocked in the cafeteria, as the owner, and the Okafor family would see her. They would know who she was, and then she would have to choose revenge or grace, destruction or mercy, the girl she used to be or the woman Mama raised her to become. Amara gathered her things. She walked out of the boardroom. In the elevator going down, she caught her reflection in the shiny metal doors. She looked like a stranger, powerful, successful, rich, but inside, she still felt like that 15-year-old girl watching her jollof rice spill on the cafeteria floor. Tomorrow would change everything. Tomorrow, the Okafors would learn the truth. The elevator doors opened. Amara stepped out into the Lagos evening. The sun was setting orange and red over Ikeja. Street vendors called out their prices. Buses honked. Life moved forward. Amara got into her car. Her driver started the engine. "Where to, Ma?" he asked. Amara closed her eyes. She saw Mama's face, those tired eyes, that loving smile. "Home," she said. But even as she said it, she knew something. Home wasn't a place anymore. Mama was gone. The small apartment they used to share was sold long ago. Home was a decision she had to make. Forgive or destroy. Show mercy or show power. Be like Mama or be like the Okafors. The car pulled into traffic. Amara opened her phone. She typed a message to Mr. Adebayo. "Schedule a meeting with all department heads tomorrow at 9 a.m., including Mrs. Okafor." She hit send. Then she leaned back in her seat and waited for tomorrow, the day the Okafors would see her, the day everything would change, the day Amara would finally decide who she really was. Amara didn't sleep that night. She lay in her bed in her apartment in Lekki, staring at the ceiling. The fan spun above her, round and round, but her mind spun faster. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. She kept seeing their faces. Mrs. Okafor with her fake smile, Chidera with her mean laugh, Mr. Okafor, who never said hello to Mama even once in 20 years. At 5 a.m., Amara gave up on sleep. She got up. She took a long shower. She stood in front of her closet for 20 minutes, trying to decide what to wear. What does power look like? She chose a navy blue suit. Simple, sharp, expensive, but not showy. She put on the gold necklace Mama gave her for her 18th birthday, the only real jewelry Mama ever owned. For luck, Amara whispered, touching the necklace. Her driver picked her up at 7 a.m. The drive from Lekki to Ikeja took an hour because of traffic. Amara watched Lagos wake up through the car window. She saw women selling bread by the roadside, men rushing to bus stops, children in school uniforms. She saw a woman in a blue cleaning uniform waiting at a bus stop. Amara's throat tightened. "Ma, are you okay?" her driver asked, looking at her in the rear-view mirror. "I'm fine," Amara said, but her voice cracked. They arrived at Prestige Industries at 8:15 a.m. The building was tall and glass and modern. Amara had been inside only once before. Years ago, she was 16, Mama had forgotten her lunch at home. Amara brought it to her. She remembered standing in the lobby, holding the small bag of food. Security had stopped her. "Where are you going?" "To see my mother. She works here." "What's her name?" "Mrs. Okonkwo." "She's a janitor." The security man had looked her up and down. Then he pointed to the service elevator. "That one. Not the main elevator. Service elevator only." Amara had taken the service elevator to the basement. She found Mama in the janitor's closet, eating a small piece of bread for lunch. "Amara, what are you doing here?" Mama had been shocked, embarrassed. "You forgot your food." Mama took the bag. She hugged Amara tight. "Thank you, my daughter. But don't come here again. This is not a place for you." "Why not?" "Because one day you will work in a place like this, but you will come through the front door. You will take the main elevator. You will have your own office. You understand?" Amara nodded. "Promise me," Mama said. "I promise." Now, 15 years later, Amara stood in front of that same building. She walked through the front door. The lobby was bright and clean, marble floors, a big reception desk. Workers in suits hurried to the elevators. "Good morning," the receptionist said. "How may I help you?" "I'm Amara Okonkwo, the new owner. I have a meeting at 9 a.m. The receptionist's eyes went wide. "Oh, yes, Ma. Welcome, Ma. Let me call upstairs." She picked up the phone. She was nervous. Her hands shook. Amara waited. A man in a suit came rushing down. He was thin and tall with glasses. "Miss Okonkwo, I'm David Eze, the operations manager. Welcome. We're so honored to have you. Please, this way." He led her to the main elevator. Not the service elevator, the main one. Amara stepped inside. She pressed the button for the 15th floor, where the executive offices were, where the boardroom was, where Mama had cleaned. The elevator doors opened. Amara stepped out. The hallway was long and quiet. Thick carpet, expensive paintings on the walls, glass doors with names on them. David led her to the largest office at the end. "This is yours now, Ma. The previous owner's office. We've cleared out his things. You can redecorate however you like." The office was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a massive desk, leather chairs, a private bathroom. Amara walked to the window. She could see all of Ikeja from up here. She could see the bus stops, the market, the small streets where she grew up. "The meeting room is ready," David said. "Everyone is waiting." "Everyone?" Amara turned around. Yes, Ma. All the department heads. Just like you requested. Amara's heart started beating fast. Is Mrs. Okafor there? Yes, Ma. She's the senior HR director. And her husband, Mr. Okafor, he's our CFO. And their children? David looked confused. Chidera and Emeka? They're not department heads. Should I call them too? No, Amara said. Not yet. Let's start with the meeting. She followed David to the boardroom, the same room where she signed the papers yesterday. But now it was full of people, 10 of them, sitting around the long table. They all stood up when Amara walked in. Good morning, they said together. Amara's eyes went straight to Mrs. Okafor. She sat near the head of the table, a big woman in a purple dress. Her wig was perfect. Her makeup was heavy. Gold earrings, gold bracelet. She smiled at Amara, but it was a fake smile, a business smile. She didn't recognize Amara. Next to her sat Mr. Okafor, tall man, grey hair, expensive watch. He looked bored already. Neither of them knew who she was. Amara felt something hot rise in her chest. Anger? Satisfaction? She wasn't sure. Please sit, Amara said. Everyone sat. Amara walked to the head of the table. She stayed standing. She wanted them to look up at her. Good morning, she said. I'm Amara Okonkwo. As of yesterday, I own Prestige Industries. That means I own this building. I own your jobs. I own every decision that happens here. She paused. The room was silent. I know some of you are worried. New owner means changes. Maybe people will get fired. Maybe things will be different. And you're right. Things will be different. Mrs. Okafor shifted in her chair. She still smiled, but her eyes were calculating. I want to know about this company, Amara continued. I want to hear from each of you. Tell me what you do. Tell me what's working. Tell me what's broken. Tell me the truth, because if you lie to me, I will find out. And I don't keep liars. She pointed to the man on her left. Start with you. Name and position. One by one, they introduced themselves. Marketing director, sales director, IT manager, finance controller. Then it was Mrs. Okafor's turn. I'm Patience Okafor, she said. Her voice was smooth, confident. Senior HR director. I've been with this company for 22 years. I handle all hiring, firing, employee relations, and policy development. Amara stared at her. 22 years, that's a long time. Yes, I know this company inside and out. And before you became HR director, what did you do? Mrs. Okafor smiled. I started as an HR assistant, worked my way up. Hard work and dedication, hard work, Amara repeated. Tell me, Mrs. Okafor, in your 22 years here, did you ever notice the janitors? The question hung in the air. Strange. Random. Everyone looked confused. Mrs. Okafor frowned. The janitors? I don't understand the question. Simple question. Did you notice them? Did you know their names? Did you ever say thank you when they cleaned your office? Mrs. Okafor's face went tight. We have a janitorial staff. Yes, they do good work. Do you know any of their names? Silence. No, Mrs. Okafor finally said. I don't recall specific names. Amara nodded slowly. There was a janitor who worked here for 20 years, Mrs. Okonkwo. She cleaned this floor. She cleaned your office. She died 3 years ago. Mrs. Okafor's eyes narrowed. Okonkwo? That's your last name. Yes, Amara said. She was my mother. The room went completely silent. Mrs. Okafor's face changed. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened slightly. Mr. Okafor sat up straight. He was staring at Amara now, really looking at her. Your mother was the janitor? Mrs. Okafor said slowly. Yes. And now you bought this company? Yes. Mrs. Okafor's smile was gone. Her face had gone pale under all that makeup. I see, she said quietly. Amara looked around the table. Everyone was watching, waiting. My mother worked 3 jobs to send me to school, Amara said. She wore herself out. She never complained. She just worked and worked and worked until her heart gave out. She looked directly at Mrs. Okafor. She cleaned your toilets. She mopped your floors. She emptied your trash. And you never even learned her name. Mrs. Okafor opened her mouth, closed it. No words came out. Mr. Okafor cleared his throat. Miss Okonkwo, if this is about, I'm not finished, Amara said. Her voice was hard now. Sharp. Mr. Okafor went quiet. My mother sent me to Grace Academy, Amara continued. Same school as your children. Do you remember Chidera and Emeka? Mrs. Okafor's hands gripped the edge of the table. Your daughter Chidera used to mock me. Every day, she called my mother a toilet cleaner. She threw my food on the floor. She made my life hell. And you know what my mother said? She said, don't mind them. One day you'll be bigger than them. Amara smiled. But it wasn't a kind smile. She was right. The room was so quiet you could hear the air conditioner humming. So here's what's going to happen, Amara said. I'm going to take a break. 30 minutes. I'm going to my office. I'm going to think. And when I come back, I'm going to make some decisions about this company, about who stays and who goes. She looked at Mrs. Okafor. Big decisions. Then she walked out. Amara went to her new office. She closed the door. She sat at the big desk. Her hands were shaking. She had done it. She had told them. She had seen their faces, the shock, the fear, the realization that the girl they mocked was now their boss. It felt good, but it also felt wrong. She pulled out her phone. She opened her photos. She scrolled to a picture of Mama. It was old, taken on Amara's graduation day from university. Mama was smiling, so proud, so happy. What do I do, Mama? Amara whispered. Her phone buzzed. A text from Mr. Adebayo, her lawyer. How did it go? Amara stared at the message. She didn't know how to answer. There was a knock on her door. Come in, Amara said. The door opened. It was Mrs. Okafor. She stood in the doorway. She looked smaller now, older. Her perfect smile was gone. "May I speak with you?" she asked. Her voice was quiet, almost humble. Amara wanted to say no, wanted to tell her to leave. But instead, she said, "Sit." Mrs. Okafor sat down in the chair across from the desk. She folded her hands in her lap. She looked at the floor. "I owe you an apology," she said. Amara didn't respond. "I didn't know your mother. I should have. She worked here for 20 years, and I never bothered to learn her name. That was wrong." "Yes," Amara said. "It was. And my daughter, Chidera, the way she treated you, I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," Amara said. "You taught her that people like my mother don't matter, that cleaners are invisible, that poor people are less than you." Mrs. Okafor's eyes filled with tears. Real tears. "You're right," she whispered. "I was proud. I was arrogant. I thought my position made me better than others. I was wrong." She looked up at Amara. "I know you're going to fire me. I know I deserve it. But before you do, I want to say I'm sorry. To you and to your mother's memory, I'm truly, deeply sorry." Amara stared at her. This was the woman who had ignored Mama for 20 years. The woman whose children made Amara cry. The woman who represented everything cruel about that time in her life. And now she was here, begging, apologizing. Amara could fire her right now. One word. "You're fired." That's all it would take. But then what? Would that bring Mama back? Would that heal the old wounds? Would that make Amara feel better? Or would it just make her like them? "I need time to think," Amara said. Mrs. Okafor nodded. She stood up. "Thank you for listening." "Mrs. Okafor," Amara called. She turned. "My mother's name was Blessing. Blessing Okonkwo. Remember that." Mrs. Okafor's face crumpled. "I will. I promise." She left. Amara sat alone in her office. She looked at Mama's picture again. "Blessing," she said out loud. "Your name was Blessing." And suddenly, Amara understood. Mama's name. Her mother's name was Blessing. Not curse, not revenge. Blessing. Maybe that was the answer. But before Amara could think more, her phone rang. It was David, the operations manager. "Ma, I'm sorry to disturb you, but there's something you should know." "What is it?" "Mrs. Okafor's children, Chidera and Emeka. They just heard what happened in the meeting. They're here, in the building. They're asking to see you." Amara's heart stopped. Chidera, the girl who threw her food on the floor, the girl who laughed at her, who called Mama a toilet cleaner. She was here. "What do I tell them, Ma?" Amara closed her eyes. She saw herself at 15 years old, jollof rice on the cafeteria floor, everyone laughing, Chidera's cruel smile. She opened her eyes. "Tell them I'll see them," Amara said. "Both of them, in my office, right now." She hung up. This was it, the moment of truth, face to face with the people who hurt her most. And whatever she decided in the next hour would define who she was, not who she used to be, but who she chose to become. Amara stood by the window and waited. Her office door was closed. Her heart was beating fast. In a few minutes, Chidera and Emeka would walk through that door. the people who made her teenage years a nightmare. She touched Mama's necklace. The gold was warm against her skin. "Give me strength," she whispered. There was a knock. "Come in," Amara said. She didn't turn around. She kept looking out the window at Lagos below. The door opened. She heard footsteps. 2 people. They stopped in the middle of the room. "Miss Okonkwo?" a woman's voice said. Amara recognized that voice immediately. Chidera. She turned around slowly. Chidera stood there in a red dress, still pretty, still wearing expensive clothes, but her face looked scared. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. Next to her was Emeka, tall like his father, a suit and tie. He looked nervous. His hands were in his pockets. They both stared at Amara. "Sit," Amara said. They sat in the 2 chairs facing her desk. Amara walked behind her desk and sat down. She looked at them, really looked at them. They had gotten older, but they were still the same people. The same faces she remembered from school. "Do you know who I am?" Amara asked. Chidera nodded. Her voice was shaky when she spoke. "Yes, our mother just told us. You're Amara, from Grace Academy." "That's right. Your mother was the janitor here," Emeka said quietly. "Her name was Blessing," Amara corrected. "Say her name." "Blessing," Emeka repeated. "We're sorry. We didn't know." "You didn't know what?" Amara interrupted. Her voice was sharp. "You didn't know she was a person? You didn't know she had a daughter? You didn't know your words could hurt?" Chidera started crying. Real tears. Her makeup was running. "I was horrible to you," she said. "I was cruel. I was a bully. I know sorry isn't enough. I know what I did was unforgivable." "Then why are you here?" Amara asked. "Because you're going to fire our parents," Emeka said. "Everyone knows. The whole office is talking about it, and probably us too. You're going to destroy our family." Amara leaned back in her chair. She looked at them both. "Would I be wrong to fire them?" she asked. "Your mother ignored mine for 20 years. Your father never once said thank you to her, and you two," she pointed at Chidera. "You made my life hell. You threw my food on the floor. You called my mother a toilet cleaner. You laughed at me every single day." Chidera covered her face with her hands. Her shoulders shook. "I was 15, she sobbed. "I was stupid. I was following what my friends did. I thought being mean made me cool. You thought poor people didn't matter," Amara finished. Chidera looked up. Her face was wet with tears. "Yes, I did. And I was wrong. So wrong. I've thought about you over the years, about what I did. I wanted to find you and apologize, but I was too ashamed. And now you're only here because I have power over you," Amara said. "No," Chidera said. "I'm here because you deserve to hear the truth. I was a terrible person. I hurt you, and I'm sorry. Even if you fire us all, even if you destroy everything, I needed you to know. I'm sorry." Emeka spoke up. "I wasn't much better. I didn't throw your food, but I laughed. I stood there and watched. I never stopped her. I never defended you. I'm sorry too." Amara felt something twist in her chest. This was the moment she had imagined. The moment they would beg. The moment she would have all the power. But it didn't feel the way she thought it would. She didn't feel victorious. She felt tired. "Do you know how my mother died?" Amara asked. They both shook their heads. "Heart attack, from working too hard. She had 3 jobs at the end. This one, hospital cleaning at night, church cleaning on weekends, all to pay for my school, all to give me a better life. She worked herself to death for me." Chidera's crying got louder. "And you know what the worst part is?" Amara continued. "She never complained, not once. She never said she was tired. She never said it was too much. She just smiled and told me to study hard, to make something of myself, to be better than the people who looked down on us." Amara stood up. She walked to the window again. "I did what she asked. I studied. I graduated top of my class. I went to university. I built a business. I made money. And now I own this company. I own your parents' jobs. I own your jobs. I have everything I ever wanted." She turned to face them, except my mother. The room was silent, except for Chidera's quiet crying. "So here's my question," Amara said. "What would my mother want me to do? Would she want revenge? Would she want me to fire you all? To make you suffer like we suffered?" She walked back to her desk. She sat down. She looked at Mama's picture on her phone screen. "I found her journals after she died. Pages and pages of notes, budgets, plans, dreams for my future. And you know what she wrote on the last page?" Amara's voice cracked. She had to stop for a moment. She took a breath. She wrote, "I pray my Amara becomes successful, not to prove anything to anyone, but to be free, free from bitterness, free from anger, free to be kind even when others are cruel." Tears ran down Amara's face now. She didn't wipe them away. "My mother wanted me to be free," she said. "But if I fire you all, if I choose revenge, I won't be free. I'll be chained to the past, chained to the pain, chained to who hurt me instead of who I want to be." Chidera looked up. Hope flickered in her eyes. "Does that mean I'm not finished?" Amara said. The hope disappeared. "You hurt me. Your family hurt my mother. Those are facts. I can't pretend they didn't happen, and I won't. But I also won't let your cruelty turn me into a cruel person." Amara opened her laptop. She pulled up the company files, employee records. She scrolled through them. "Your mother has worked here 22 years. Your father, 25 years. Long time. But I've looked at the records, complaints, problems. Your mother in HR has been accused of favoritism, of treating some employees badly, of ignoring problems." Mrs. Okafor's record appeared on the screen. Pages of complaints. "Your father in finance has been sloppy, missing deadlines, making errors. The previous owner kept him because they were friends. But this company is losing money because of his mistakes. Mr. Okafor's performance reviews were terrible. And you two?" Amara looked at Chidera and Emeka. "You both got your jobs here because your parents work here, not because you earned them. Chidera, your marketing campaigns are lazy. Emeka, your sales numbers are the worst in your department." She closed the laptop. "So here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to fire you because you were cruel to me. That would be revenge. But I'm also not going to keep you just to prove I'm better than you. That would be stupid. She stood up. Your mother is fired. Not because she ignored my mother, but because she's bad at her job. She treats people unfairly. That ends today. Chidera gasped. Emeka put his head in his hands. Your father is demoted. He'll move from CFO to a junior accounting position. Lower pay, lower title. If he works hard and fixes his mistakes, maybe he can earn his way back up. If not, he's gone. Amara walked around the desk. She stood in front of them. And you two, you're on probation. 3 months. You will work harder than you've ever worked in your life. You will prove you deserve to be here. You will earn your positions, or you will leave. She looked at Chidera, but there's one more thing. Starting next week, this company will have a new program. We will pay for the children of our janitors and security guards and kitchen staff to go to good schools. We will give scholarships. We will help their families the way no one helped mine. Chidera's mouth opened. That's beautiful. And you're going to run it, Amara said. Me? Yes. You're going to spend time with the families of our lowest paid workers. You're going to learn their names, their stories, their struggles. You're going to help their children get education. And maybe, just maybe, you'll become a better person. Chidera stood up. She was crying again, but different crying. Grateful crying. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. I won't let you down. I promise. Don't thank me, Amara said. Thank my mother. This is her dream. I'm just making it happen. Emeka stood up too. We'll work hard. We'll prove ourselves, I swear. Amara nodded. You can go now. Tell your parents my decisions. And tell them I want to meet with them tomorrow. We have a lot of work to do. They walked to the door. Chidera stopped and turned around. Amara, she said, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But one day, I hope you can forgive me. Not for me, but for you. So you can really be free. Then they left. Amara sat back down at her desk. She was alone again. She felt lighter somehow, like a heavy weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She picked up her phone. She called Mr. Adebayo. It's done, she said. How do you feel? He asked. Amara thought about it. How did she feel? Free, she said. I feel free. She hung up. She looked at Mama's picture one more time. I hope I made you proud, Mama, she whispered. I didn't choose revenge. I didn't choose to be cruel. I chose to be like you. Kind, fair, strong. There was a soft knock on her door. Amara looked up. David, the operations manager, poked his head in. Sorry to disturb you, Ma, but the staff wants to know. Are there going to be more changes? Amara smiled. Yes, many changes. Good changes. We're going to run this company the right way. Fair pay. Respect for everyone. No more ignoring the people who keep this building clean and running. David smiled back. The janitors will be happy to hear that. What are their names? Amara asked. The current janitors. I want to know all their names. David looked surprised, but he pulled out his phone and read them off. There's Ngozi, Taiwo, Kehinde, Blessing. Blessing? Amara's heart jumped. Yes, Ma. Blessing Adeyemi. She's been here 5 years. Amara stood up. I want to meet her, right now. The janitor? Yes. Bring her up here, please. David looked confused, but he nodded. Yes, Ma. 10 minutes later, there was another knock. David opened the door. Behind him was a young woman in a blue cleaning uniform. She looked scared. Her eyes were wide. This is Blessing Adeyemi, David said. Amara walked over to her. The woman was young, maybe 25. She held a mop in her hand. She looked like she might cry. Don't be afraid, Amara said gently. You're not in trouble. I just wanted to meet you. Me? Ma? Her voice was small. Yes. What's your full name? Blessing Adeyemi, Ma. Blessing, Amara repeated. That's a beautiful name. Thank you, Ma. Do you have children, Blessing? Yes, Ma. 2. A boy and a girl. How old? 7 and 5, Ma. Amara smiled. She reached out and shook Blessing's hand. The woman looked shocked. Starting next month, this company will pay for your children's education. Good schools, full scholarships, books, uniforms, everything. Blessing's eyes filled with tears. Ma, is this real? Yes, it's real. You work hard for this company. You keep it clean. You matter. And your children matter. They deserve a good education. Blessing started crying. She covered her mouth with her hand. Thank you, Ma. God bless you, Ma. Thank you. What are your children's names? Amara asked. My son is Chidi. My daughter is Amara. Amara's breath caught. Amara? Yes, Ma. I named her Amara. It means grace. Grace. Amara felt tears running down her own face now. Grace, not revenge, not bitterness. Grace. That's perfect, Amara whispered. Tell little Amara that she can be anything she wants to be. Tell her to study hard. Tell her that where she comes from doesn't matter. What matters is where she's going. Blessing nodded, crying and smiling at the same time. I will, Ma, I will. After Blessing left, Amara sat alone in her office one more time. She looked out the window at Lagos. The city was loud and busy and chaotic and beautiful. Somewhere down there were children like she used to be. Children of janitors and security guards and street vendors. Children who were mocked at school. Children who felt small, but not anymore. Not if Amara could help it. She pulled out her phone. She opened a new note. She started typing. Blessing Okonkwo, Memorial Scholarship Fund. Mission: to provide education for the children of working-class families, because every child deserves a chance, because one person's kindness can change everything, because grace is stronger than revenge. She saved the note. Then she sat back and smiled. Mama would be proud, not because Amara owned a big company, not because she had money and power, but because she chose to be kind when she could have been cruel. She chose to lift others up instead of tearing them down. She chose grace over revenge. She chose to honor her mother's memory, not with bitterness, but with blessing. Amara touched the gold necklace around her neck. Thank you, Mama, she said out loud, for everything, for your sacrifice, for your love, for teaching me that true success isn't about being bigger than the people who hurt you. It's about being better than the person you used to be. The sun was setting over Lagos. Orange and gold light filled her office. Amara stood at the window and watched the city below. Somewhere down there, little Amara Adeyemi was probably playing, not knowing yet that her life was about to change, that she would get to go to a good school, that someone who used to be just like her was making sure she got a chance to dream, a chance to hope, a chance to become whoever she wanted to be. And that was the real triumph. Not revenge, not destroying the people who hurt her, but breaking the cycle, changing the story, making sure the next Amara didn't have to fight as hard as she did. That was power, that was victory, that was grace. Amara smiled and turned away from the window. She had work to do, a company to run, scholarships to set up, lives to change. But first, she had one more thing to do. She pulled out her phone and sent a text to her assistant. "Find out where my mother is buried. I'm going to visit her tomorrow. I have good news to share." Then she packed up her things and walked out of her office. As she passed through the building, people stared. They knew who she was now. The new owner, the janitor's daughter, the girl who came back. But Amara didn't see their stares. She saw the future, a future where kindness won, where hard work was rewarded, where no one was invisible. She stepped into the elevator. The doors closed, and as it carried her down to the ground floor, Amara felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real, deep, lasting peace. The kind that comes from doing the right thing even when the wrong thing would feel so good. The kind that comes from honoring the people who loved you by becoming someone worth loving. The kind that comes from choosing every single day to be a blessing. Just like Mama. The end of part 1. Comment for part 2.